Got a question for you, Drew. This is from Humberto GGC. Okay. Humberto. Okay. Apart from blue and black, are there other ink colors appropriate for the workplace? Hey, you work at a place.
I do, and you know what?
Perspective on this?
It's very frowned upon to use fountain pens at the Goulet Pen Company. I tell you, it's just like you shove a big roller ball into the hand and you just send them out into the Steno pool.
You gotta kind of hide it. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Can't have it out in the open.
Shameful. No, in most cases, absolutely work appropriate. But let me start off by saying, if you are mandated by your employer to use either black or blue ink, please do that, especially if there are legal consequences. Don't go against those wishes. There are plenty of beautiful blues out there. You'll be fine. If it's just like if you just kind of want to keep things professional though, then yeah, absolutely. There are a ton of great inks that would look both professional and fun. My suggestions are going to center around darker colors that, or something that almost looks black, at first glance, but then has that like hint of color. I love those. I really enjoy writing with those. And sometimes I wish I did work at a place that was kind of, strict about that, so I could kind of like have fun sneaking in fun little colors. But yeah, I don't, so it's not a big deal. But sometimes I still do. Anyway, the Private Reserve ebony inks are a great place to start. So they've got ebony red, which is kind of a brown, but still looks cool. Ebony blue, ebony purple, ebony green. They have an ebony brown as well, but it's actually not as dark of a brown as you can find in other brands. So pretty much every ebony but brown is a very, very dark color. That's, if you're using a fine nib and it's going on pretty dark, it's only going to have that hint of color that only you'll know that it's actually a fun color. So that's a great place to start. There's lots of good blue blacks. I tried narrowing down one, but honestly, you pick a brand, they're going to have a solid blue black in their assortment, and that's a great place to start. In fact, I think that blue black was, in many ways popularized by trying to, inject some fun color into more professional environments like that. So Robert Oster Motor Oil and Noodler's L. Lawrence are two of my favorites. They have this kind of a brownish, greeny, blackies thing going on. L. Lawrence is a little bit darker and a little bit more green. Motor Oil is a little bit more brownish, but both of them are fun. And, with a finer nib, they're going to appear much darker with just that hint. And then, of course, Diatramentis Document Series has a black red and a black blue. And I think they called it this because the black is heavier than the other color. Instead of like a blue black, they're like, let's call it black blue because it's pretty much black with just the faintest hint of blue. And if you are in a environment where you need to have permanence in your inks, these are great options as well. You can have a little bit of a hint of color, but they're also going to be very, very permanent, waterproof, very, very solid inks that will last longer than the paper in most cases. And then you could also go with a gray. And because I feel like if a black is allowed, then a gray is not too far off, as long as it's not like a light gray. Obviously, Diamine has two very, very popular grays. One of my personal and oldest favorites is Diamine Graphite. I love that color. Just a hint of greenish going on in there. A more true gray would be Diamine Earl Grey, which is probably Diamine's most popular gray, if not one of their top 5 most popular shades overall. Those are my suggestions. Hopefully that helps. Brian, you got anything?
Yeah, I actually did a video on this back in 2017. A short one. It's like a 3.5-minute video. I don't even know if I can. That's
very short for that time.
I don't even know if I'm capable of doing that. I can't even do the intro in 3 minutes these days on the Pencast. So anyway, you can go check that out. We'll have a link in the description. But in there, I talk about work appropriate inks, and it goes along the same vein of what Drew said. Though I did mention some different inks, so that's kind of fun. I didn't even remember what inks. I mean, that was 5 years ago at this point. So I looked back at it. So I said Noodler's Zhivago, which kind of fits in that dark green. Noodler's Walnut, dark brown, that is browner than ebony brown.
It is.
Diamine Oxblood, super popular, dark red color. Definitely holds up. Diatramentis Aubergine, so that's like a deep purple. It's a nice, really nice color. It's a little more vibrant than your PR ebony purple. So see if you could sneak that one in there. That would be a fun one. And then I said Pilot Shizuku Kujaku. So that one is like blue that leans a tad green. So that's not going as much on the dark theme, but that's one that's more like flittering on the edge of what might be considered blue. So you could kind of have some fun. There's a lot of turquoises too that will kind of fall in that vein. It's like, is it blue? Yeah, there's some teals and stuff like that. I feel like you could sneak some of that, sneak some of that stuff in there.
Sure.
But basically everything that Drew said, it's like, obviously, if you work at a law office or, some sort of governmental agency and they require certain colors, okay, maybe don't mess around with that on the documents that you need to. But there's plenty of people I know that they're like, yeah, I'm restricted to these colors, but, I have my own notebook that I use for just organizing my stuff or my planner or whatever. And I use friggin' whatever, Diamond Morning Glow or whatever, apple green and all kinds of crazy stuff. They're like, because I just want it to be my own. I'm like, well, more power to you. So like, definitely you can get your color fix in there, even if you have to be somewhat conservative on the color front.